Okay, so in this video, we are going to react to my first video on YouTube. I started my channel about 3 years ago, and I had never done anything like this at that point, and you can tell. I've since privated a lot of my first videos. I really need to go back and private more, just because it's not really, none of these videos are reflective of myself as a reader currently, but I definitely don't begrudge these videos. You gotta start somewhere, and this is where I started. But also, it's kind of funny to look back at your old self and be like, ah, you sweet summer child. So that's what we're gonna do today. Here is my first video. I can't remember much about it, but I bet it was bad. But first, a word from today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with over 25,000 classes in design, business, writing, language, and more. I personally use them for my Spanish, and I feel like I've grown a lot in my ability to communicate. And I've also used them for learning techniques to be able to read faster and more efficiently. Also, felt like I learned a lot. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to join all of their classes and communities, and the annual subscription is less than $10 a month. Plus, if you use my link in the description, your first 2 months are free. I love Skillshare and use them daily, and I highly recommend checking them out. Hey everybody, I'm Murphy Napier. Right off the bat, I forgot that, yeah, I definitely used to wave at the camera at the beginning of every video and introduce myself just in case you didn't know. It's funny because I get so many comments now about how I just dive into videos and I don't have an intro and I don't address anything. I think the reason I started doing this is because it always bothered me when people would have like a minute-long intro for their video until the video actually started, and so I just don't do anything to start my video. But this is probably better. Today we're doing the Bookish book tags. Scenario number 1, you have to get rid of all your books. No. And you can only keep one book from each of these genres: fantasy, contemporary, nonfiction, and a genre of my choice. So for fantasy, Harry Potter, because duh. For contemporary, I probably just choose Anna and the French Kiss because I really don't read a lot of contemporary, but I've heard a lot of really good things about this book in particular, so I'd probably choose this one just so that I would be more compelled to read it now. For nonfiction, I would choose Strengthen Yourself in the Lord and Erasing Hell by Frances Chan. And for genre of my choice, I would probably choose whatever genre Ted Dekker is, because then I could choose the Circle series because it's long, it's phenomenal, and I could sort of get away with 3 series because all 3 of these are intertwined in each other, and you're not going to get the full experience unless you read all 3 series. So I think technically that means I can have all 3, right? Okay, I really love this because, wow. First of all, Harry Potter is a solid fantasy choice. I may pick Stormlight at this point because I haven't reread it yet, so it would be nice to reread, but truly, Harry Potter I don't think would ever get old, so I think it's a solid choice. Ooh, or of course, Gentlemen Bastards, because I don't think I would ever get tired of that either. For contemporary, I chose a contemporary that I had never read before, and when I did read it, I gave it 1 star. Only because I couldn't give it 0 stars. I'll link my Goodreads review for Anna and the French Kiss down in the description because it's gold. I would probably now pick, daggum, my favorite Frederick Bachman is And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer, but it's also so few pages, so I might pick Beartown instead, but that would be a hard one to read nonstop. I'd probably pick Beartown. Ugh. Nonfiction, Strengthening Yourself in the Lord is still a great one. I have been reading more nonfiction lately, though, so, you know, I probably would have a bigger list now. And then for a genre of your choice, I chose more fantasy. Ted Dekker, I used to be a huge fan of Ted Dekker. I haven't read any of his stuff recently. But I guess what I would choose is either Gentlemen Bastards or Harry Potter. So I'd probably still stick with fantasy. Then I would buy back all the books that I was forced to get rid of until I ran out of money. She's so clever. Bookish scenario number 2. She's so nerdy. You're at the bookstore and you overhear a teen telling their mom they don't like to read, but their mom insists on them picking something. What would you recommend? For a girl, I would recommend the Selection series because,
It's not perfect, but I've recommended this series to a lot of people, and everybody's come back and loved it that I know, so I feel like it's one that appeals to a lot of different girls. For a guy, I would recommend City of Bones. I haven't finished the series yet, but it was a daggum good first book, and I think that it would really appeal to the male audience. It's also an easy read, probably not as easy to read as Kiera Cass's writing style if you don't like reading, but it's still a really fast-paced, good story. The other thing that I might recommend for a guy would be what I'm reading right now, and that's The Fifth Wave, though I'm not very far into it yet, so I don't actually know if it's going to end up being awesome or not.
I'll just pause it right now. So many things. First of all, I wouldn't split guy and girl at this point. So regardless, my pick would likely be, okay, it said a kid at a bookstore. I might pick Mistborn because I feel like it has a really quick hook. Brandon Sanderson's writing style is straightforward enough that I feel like even if you're not a big reader, you could wrap your head around all the complex things that he's doing. One of the main characters is a teen, and so she'd be easily relatable, and it's just a really interesting story. So I feel like this would be a solid recommendation. Yeah, I figured that's what I'd choose for said child. Also, I think it's funny that I ended up not liking The Fifth Wave after I finished it. I did like the first book I did like City of Bones when I first read it, but then I didn't really like hardly any of the other books in that series and have since decided that Cassandra Clare isn't the author for me. And the Selection series, while it was one of my favorite series pre-BookTube life, I have since reread it and I don't love it as much, but I do still think that for the age group it's intended, I can totally see why I loved it so much when I read it the first, second, and third times. I also think it's funny that I sectioned off for girls, you should read this, for guys, you should read this, and for guys, I picked books that I liked as a girl. Logic is good.
Bookish scenario number 3. You're not feeling like yourself and you just need a pick-me-up. Which book do you read to put you in a good mood? Harry Potter, the Selection series, The Hunger Games. 3.
Okay. Harry Potter, yes. The Selection series, not anymore, but you know, I did love it for a long time. The Hunger Games, still yes. And 3, I haven't reread in a long time, but I did really love that series. I would also choose The Gentleman Bastards now.
Bookish scenario number 4. You go back in time to your teenage years, what book would you read? I actually don't have a lot of books from my childhood because from the ages of 17 to 21, I moved around so much that I really didn't stay in one place for more than a couple of months. So I ended up giving away most of my books when I started traveling. In fact, I only started my book collection since I've been married because this is the most grounded I've ever been since I was a little kid. And even though I still have the travel bug and I hope that I get to move around a lot more in the future, this time I'm going to find a way to take my books with me because I have such a bigger love of books and reading. I'm gonna figure out a way to bring this stuff with me next time. So because of my lack of resources, I'm gonna go with the one book that I decided to keep in the midst of all my travels, even though I haven't read it since I was like 15, and that's Inkheart.
I just think it's really cute. Sorry to interrupt. I think it's really cute how clearly uncomfortable I was that everything is so scripted. So even though I'm saying true things, you can tell that I've scripted it and rehearsed it and probably already recorded this video a couple of times. And then also my voice is so much higher because I was really uncomfortable. So I was just trying really hard. And it's like this, I don't think that I'm misrepresenting myself. I'm just very uncomfortable. Took me a long time to get comfortable in front of the camera and just be relaxed enough to just chat. So, okay, so Inkheart's still a solid answer, but I would probably say Just Ella, even though that's probably not teenage, that's probably middle school, but that's a book that I have loved and reread multiple times since having a channel and is still amazing. And I still wish that the companion series, instead of being a companion series, had just been sequels because I wanted more of that story so bad and not just an Ella crops up in other people's stories.
Bookish scenario number 5. Your friend surprises you with a 4-day road trip and you have 1 day to pack. What do you take? First of all, 1 day to pack for a 4-day road trip? I could do that in like an hour and feel really good about it. I'm a packing pro. Second of all, 1 book for a 4-day road trip? Why? Why can't I pack more than that? But the answer to that is going to be whatever's next on my TBR. Right now, as you know, I'm reading The Fifth Wave. But if the road trip is going to happen in a couple days, I'd probably just pick whatever comes in the mail next because I should be getting a book in the mail in like a day or 2.
old Murphy, I love you. I guess my answer is still the same. I would like to pack more than one book because I'm currently reading more than one book. I guess I would choose North and South because I'm really into that right now.
Bookish scenario number 6. Your house has been robbed. Everyone is safe, but your bookshelf has been raided. What's the one book you hope is safe? Okay, again with losing all my books, take the TV, take one of the computers, take this camera. Not my books. Why do you even want my books? Go buy your own books. I just went broke from rebuying all my books from question number 1. I don't have any more money for books. Anyway, the book that I'm gonna hope is safe is gonna be whichever one I'm reading at the time. Because whatever book I'm reading, I become obsessed with, and it's the most important book in the world until it's over. And then whatever book I pick up next is the next most important book in the world. So whatever I'm reading at the time. But seeing as how I always carry the book that I'm currently reading with me, I'm gonna go with the Harry Potter series because that's the series that I'm actually reading with my husband right now, so it would affect both of us if we lost it.
I agree, and specifically the one that's behind my head in this video because that was like an $80 box set.
And the last bookish scenario, number 7, your friend borrows a book and they bring it back to you in terrible condition. Do you just pretend you hadn't noticed, ask them to purchase you another one, or do the same thing to their book? This has actually happened to me several times, and that's why all my books have been on lockdown for the last several years. Nobody touches my books, nobody looks at my books, nobody comes near my books, not even my best friend. I was ready to offend you before you would touch one of my books. Because here's the thing, if you don't have a healthy respect for books, then you're on this page, right? This is the page you're on, and then you flip it upside down, and you leave it on something, and then you walk away. And then you don't come back to your book because you have no respect for books and you're not reading it in a timely manner. So it stays like this. It stays like this for days. And you know what happens? Then you pick it up and it's still stuck on that page. And then my book is ruined. And in order to fix it, I have to press it between other books to keep it safe. Or you break my beautiful binding. My bindings don't break. My bindings stay like this. But you're gonna break it. Or you might tear one of my pages, one of my beautiful pages. Or some other horrible thing. You don't get to touch my books.
Oh my golly! You can tell I have some pent-up rage from some very specific situations. That was really funny. Okay. I don't think that way anymore. I actually lend my books out all the time now. And also, I write in my books and break my spines and dog-ear my pages. Oh, Murph, you were a gem. I don't even remember the question. What a rant. Oh, right. What would you do if someone destroyed your book? I would just buy another one. I buy most of my books used anyway, so they almost always are somewhat disheveled when they come to me, so I would just buy another one used for a couple of bucks. This is fun. This is a lot more fun than I thought it would be. Wow, I just skipped over another 5 minutes of me ranting about this. I'm not going to subject you to that, but literally, I'm on this question for way too long. Oh my gosh, she's still going. Let's skip her. Oh, that's the whole thing. Okay, well, there you go. That's what I used to be like on camera. This is actually really fun because, like I said, it's funny to see myself so uncomfortable, but still trying, like I'm still trying to be funny and lighthearted and goofy and, you know, I'm still trying to be myself. I'm still trying to portray myself, but it's so awkward because I feel so awkward. And so it's funny because I like the way I'm portraying myself. It's just that it's not going over well because I don't like being in front of the camera yet. Also, just all of my answers are so very different from what they used to be. But that was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. I hope you had a good laugh. I'm filming 2 other more more laborious videos today. So I wanted at least one of the videos that I filmed to be pretty chill and easy. So I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I post videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'll see you guys again soon.